Yeah, it's recording. Hi guys. I haven't made a video in a really long time, and this one specifically, it's not specifically for her, but a really hot female by the name of British Brooke on Twitter was like, you need to make another video. And I've been trying to avoid it for ages, and I don't know why, but it really is that time. And yes, I have boobs now, like a lot of boobs. This is really amazing, and I'm really glad I didn't have that boob job when I was 21, because I would be effed right now. And I'm saying effed instead of because I'm really trying to keep it cute. I'm not saying that swearing, well, no, swearing isn't cute, but my sailor mouth comes straight from my dad. I mean, he made swearing so normal that I don't realise it can still have a shock factor and make some people feel uncomfortable. So I'm trying not to swear as much. I'm not perfect, but I'm going to try not to swear during this video. Playing in the background today is Bon Iver, not Bon Iver, Bon Iver. I can't remember which album it is. All his music's great anyway. What do I want to talk about today? I don't know. I don't have specific things to talk about. I'm feeling good. This journey is, I'm really thankful that I'm getting off so lightly. It's unbelievable, and touch all the wood that this continues, because I hear some utter horror stories, and the past couple of days I've been having Braxton Hicks, but that's really normal. And sometimes I get exhausted, but that's normal. But in terms of like the constant pain I hear from other expectant mums, especially first timers, it's just not happening around here. And there are lots of things I can attribute to that, including constant exercise. Okay, I do want to talk about that. I think the music's too loud in the background. Hold on. That's probably better. A lot of people have, especially my family and my other half, have been like, you need to chill out, you need to take it more slowly, you need not to be doing A, B, C or D. And I agree to a point. We need to understand that pregnancy, especially in the Western world, we need to get to terms with the fact that pregnancy is not a disability. There's someone right now in Africa, a 15-year-old girl, walking 10 miles for water with a bucket on her head, and she's due next week. Like, it's really not that serious. So I'm not about to become despondent or lazy because I'm carrying another life, because I believe the way I behave now with this kid inside of me is exactly how he will behave upon being here. And I don't want a lazy kid, and I don't want a fat kid. It's just, I've got nothing against fat, lazy kids. I just don't want one. So I've been really trying to keep up with the yoga. Running's been touch and go, because I tell you what, when you run, I can feel him. And the pressure can sometimes be a bit unbearable. So, the mileage isn't as long, and I'm nowhere near as swift. Unless I just lose control. Sometimes I totally forget I'm pregnant. And that sounds weird, but it's true. There are days when this feels so good that I forget that I have this other person inside of me that I should be thinking about. But when I've noticed that when I don't exercise, I'm in pain. So exercise for me is a way to keep all these pregnancy pains at bay. Because to be fair, I don't have time for it. I'm not here for the whole... Pregnancy is not 9 months, it's a year. Because by the time you factor in those 40 weeks, giving birth and recovery time, trust me, you've taken 12 months out for this whole journey. And I'm not prepared to put my life on hold to aid another. And I know that sounds selfish, but it makes sense. I believe with anything in life, separate from pregnancy, if you do not put yourself first, you will become resentful. And that's not me saying don't give, that's not me saying don't share, that's not me saying don't love. But if you overdo those things in any area, you will end up resenting who you've done it for or what you've done it for. So you need to be careful. And I don't want to resent him. I sit down with young women who became mothers a lot earlier on in their life, and they love their child, but they resent what that child supposedly took from them, i.e. time, sense of self, and space to grow. And I don't want to resent anyone, because my parents never made me feel that way. Obviously, I've had those arguments with my mum, but she's never made me feel as if I took something away from her, and I want to be sure to repeat that in the process. Another thing I want to talk about, and this is so random, but it's on my mind, the Kardashians, okay? My guilty pleasure is streaming that with a bowl of Weetabix at the moment. I love the Kardashians. Why do I love the Kardashians? It gives me such joy to know that money does not dilute the realities of this life. They are so rich, and yet watching the latest season, which is season 8, which shows Kim being pregnant, really made me hit home that there's no amount of Hermes or Chanel or Louis that takes away from the fact that she's having a really shit pregnancy. Now, I'm not saying that I enjoy watching her in pain, but it's a nice little reality check, because sometimes I think we hold celebrities in too much esteem, or we think that their lives are made easier because their belts aren't as tight as ours, or they can have whatever they want. Yes, materialistically that is so, but emotionally sometimes they get even a worse deal, because as we've seen, okay, she's had the kid now, well done, babe. There was no privacy. There's been no definition between Kim, the sex tape whore. These are not my words. You know I'm down for a sex tape. Whatever. Kim, the sex tape whore, and Kim, the mother. People have not allowed her to make that transition smoothly. And it's as if, especially for pregnant women, that we're not allowed to be multifaceted. I'm not saying that being, a amateur porn star is something to be proud about, but the reality is that is why we know that girl's name, and that is why she commands the money that she does. I think it's really unfair now that she's moved on and past that, and yet that's all people seem to see. So in saying that, one of the things that has been on my mind is how to remain true to myself. As in, I am a human being, I am a female, I am going to make mistakes in my own life and in this journey, but I would love if society got together in not judging women based on their past lives or experiences, or the things they do, because I don't think her having a sex tape is going to make her a shit mum. And this whole, the way that the internet is such a hat of being anonymous, all these trolls. If you go through her Instagram, the comments, I just think, rah, you're dark. Because you don't even know this girl. I can say that I don't like the way certain celebrities do things, or I don't agree with their opinions, but the hate that has been put upon not just a woman but a pregnant one, I just think, wow, we all need to chill the fuck out. I said I wouldn't swear, but I think, we can let that one go. And so in watching her journey, it's really made me think about my journey and the things that, are there things I'm not going to want my kid to know? Of course. But am I going to tell them? Of course. Because I want you to hear it from the horse's mouth, number one. And I want you to know that I am not perfect. I've discussed it on the blog previously, but it's only through this journey I've realised how petrified my parents must have been when I was coming. You have no idea what you're signing up for here. You don't even know how to control your own life. Like, I'm really shit at that. And so now to think about how nervous they must have been, it just blows my mind. But then lastly, that brings me to talking about how much I want to bring the extended family back. I am so privileged to have on board a family that literally, once this kid comes out of me, if I never wanted to see him again, no one's gonna, cause a fuss. And obviously I want to see him again, but I'm then allowed to return to full-time whatever. I can travel whenever I want, because I have an extended family who are excited to do that, and they are excited to be there. And I think there's been such a harping on for, bring the nuclear family back. No, sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes kids are better not being raised around two parents who are at each other's throats. I'd like to champion the extended family. Can we bring grandparents back into the mix? Where's your uncles? Where's your cousins? Where's your aunties? Where are the outside factors that we can lean on? I think a lot of society's wrongdoing is that we've all become very, I'm just out for myself. Yes, remain selfish. I did say that. But understand that when it comes to bringing a new child into the mix, it's really a village job. I am nowhere near equipped enough to do this by myself. I am the product of so many other people, not just my mum and my dad. Actually, it was very rarely them. They made me get here physically. But emotionally and spiritually, my growth has come from many different angles of my family. Mainly my grandparents, and I can see how that is already positioning itself to happen with this kid. My mum and my stepdad are very there, and I know that a lot of that child's emotional, spiritual, and even financial well-being is going to come from them, not because I need them to, but because I want them to, and that's very important to me. And so that's interesting. To conclude, this has been really fun. This has actually been fun. This has been the most cleansing, cathartic, emptying experience I've ever had in my entire life. I'm in no rush to repeat it again, but at the same time, it's been so awesome. And I'm so grateful to God. I believe in God. Excuse that if you don't. I'm so grateful to God to be able to serve. Parenting is a service. And it's a service that goes beyond 18 years. And watching my relationship with my mum and her parents taught me that. It's a service for as long as I'm on this earth. And to be in a position to be trusted with the act of servicing another human being. Not just from a point of, I'm going to change your diapers, but I'm going to make my body the best it can be so you can stay there for as long as you need to be. And then beyond that, I'm going to continue to do things for myself that will make you a better person. I'm totally blown away by that. And I'm absolutely blown away by my own reaction. The things that used to bother me I just don't really give a shit about anymore, to be frank. Because they're just not that important. And to be honest, few things can teach you that in life. Death is always a stark reminder. And birth. Those two things that are so different but exactly the same will teach you or remind you what your purpose is and how lucky and how invaluable the time is we have here. And I don't want to get mushy because my emotions aren't cut out for that, but I think you get my point. With that said, I'm trying to keep this under 15 minutes. I'll wrap up. British Brooke, I hope that was a good enough update for you. I promise I'm going to keep this at least every 2 weeks. I think I'll talk better than I type, and that way you guys can get a feel for me and so on and so forth. But that's it. I have a lot of work to do. I'm in serious nesting mode, and for some reason I think I'm on location. So I'll leave it at that.